Kennedy? What are you doing? Baby shark. Okay, all right. Let's eat our food and be calm. So, hey everybody, it's Allie for Padfoot Palms, Poodles and Pals. So I am here with Kennedy, who is on day 2 with us here at home. We picked her up early yesterday morning. And this is her second meal of the day. It's about, I don't know, I guess it's about 10:30. So she has been doing really, really well. And I wanted to talk to you guys about having puppies, having them on a schedule, and then also what our first night looked like last night. So let's get right into it. While she's just eating and not really doing anything exciting, of course, now she went over and grabbed a toy, so I spoke too soon. Anyway, I'll just flip back and forth so that you can see her. Now she's gonna run around, which is what I don't want her to do, but that's okay. All right, so anyway, let's talk about puppies, first night home, and what you should be doing. So on a puppy's first night, and you should decide this before you get your puppy, she's running around, you should decide where they're gonna sleep. So, hi pretty. Okay, good girl. So we try for the first couple of nights to have the puppy sleep with us in the bed. Now, the only reason why I do this is because I'm talking about a standard poodle puppy. If I was talking about a smaller breed puppy, I wouldn't recommend it because they're so small and light, and it's very easy for them to get off the bed, right, when you're asleep, and you may not even feel it. So it can be dangerous. Now, with a standard poodle puppy, obviously she's significantly bigger than, say, a small breed puppy. And so I'm a very light sleeper. So it's easy for me to feel her and what she's doing and make sure that she doesn't get off the bed. So, because I'm a light sleeper, she's running around with my shoe. You guys gotta watch this, hang on. So, because I'm a light sleeper, anytime that she would move or reposition herself, it would wake me up. And anytime that I wake up in the middle of the night, I have to go to the bathroom. It's just something that I have to do. So probably every 2 to 3 hours, we were getting up, and then I was bringing her back in to here to these puppy pads, which you can see. And this is our master bathroom, by the way. There's our bed. So I would bring her in with me. I would set her down on this potty pad right here in front of me, and then I would go to the bathroom. And she also, in her groggy puppy state, would go potty on the pee-pee pad right in front of me. So I was able to immediately praise her for going potty on the pad. So if you are starting out with house training, then you're going to want to take your puppy outside every few hours in the middle of the night. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Allie, what are you talking about? I am not going to get up every 3 hours to take this puppy outside. Well, you should. It makes house training go that much faster. And in the first 2 weeks, you're gonna lose some sleep, but the benefits far outweigh the loss of sleep. And if you have a significant other, you guys can kind of trade off. Like, you have a puppy one night, I have puppy next night, you have puppy one night, I have puppy next night, right? So that one of you is getting good sleep. So the reason why you do this is because A, puppies at this size are not going to hold it all night. It's just not going to happen. If you put them in a crate, if you put them in a pen, even if you have them blocked off in something like, you know, a master bathroom, they're not going to hold it all night. They just can't. They're too young. In the case of smaller breed puppies, they're going to be too small. So it doesn't do you any good to try to make them hold it from the very beginning. That's just my opinion. There are plenty of trainers and breeders that have a different opinion. This is what works for us. So you're welcome to try it. See if it works with your puppy. That's the other thing about having a puppy. There's no one training method that works for every puppy, because puppies are different, right? They have different personalities. They have different levels of confidence when they're young. So you have to take all of those things into account so that you can find a training system that works for your puppy. When it comes to Kennedy here, she is very sweet and very easygoing. She's very affectionate. She's very loving. She wants to follow you everywhere. She's much more interested in being with people than other dogs at this point, which is perfectly fine. Ideally, we want her to bond with us, right, before bonding with the other dogs in the house. So if you have other dogs, you want to make sure that you're spending time with them, but you also want to make sure that you're having, you know, one-on-one time with your puppy. Good girl, yes. You did good girl. Good girl, you did good. Okay, all right. Are you all right? Okay. So, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, with the house training, right, you can, if you so choose, instead of getting up every 3 hours and letting your puppy go on a potty pad, like we have over here, you could get up every 3 hours and then let your puppy outside and take them to the area that you want them to potty. I don't recommend that you have your puppy walk the distance to that area. You're going to want to pick them up and carry them, because especially in the middle of the night, the moment you set that puppy down, they're going to go potty. Kennedy. Hey. Good girl. Good girl. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. Let me see what she's getting after over there. I just wanted to make sure she wasn't trying to chew on a cord or something. She is very interested in everything right now. But that's definitely something that you want to keep an eye out for. You want to make sure all of your cords are put up. My cell phone charger cord was laying kind of off the side of my nightstand, and she spotted it yesterday and was trying to chew it. So you got to keep an eye on them when they're out with you. Isn't that right, Kennedy? She's like, I'm a troublemaker. Okay, so if you are using a pen or a crate, you will undoubtedly find that your puppy is going to whine and cry for a long time. Just be patient with them. Try to remind yourself that your puppy has only been alive on this earth for 8 weeks, right? That's not a very long time. And during that time, the only family that they ever knew were their siblings, their parents, the breeder, right? Or the rescue worker in the case of litters that are raised by rescues. So you just want to be patient with them. A lot of times the first and even second night can be the worst for whining. But here are some tips to help your puppy kind of settle down when you put them to bed. Tip number 1 is make sure that your puppy is tired. You see how much energy she has? So when it's about an hour to an hour and a half before bedtime, you want to make sure that your puppy is getting worn out. It is time to play. It is time to run around. It is time to make sure that you and your family members are leaving them on the ground and not picking them up and toting them around. So if you're walking around, your puppy has to follow you, which is a great way to wear them out. And you need your puppy to be tired. The other thing that you want to take into consideration is when the last time your puppy took a nap. For example, last night, my wife and I were watching the Alabama football game. And it started at 8, and I said, okay, when we get to halftime, I want to make sure that we wake Kennedy up from her nap because I put her in the master bathroom here to eat her food and to take a nap, which she did. And I said, okay, at halftime, we're going to go get her. We're going to bring her out here, and her food will digest it enough by then that she can have playtime. So that's exactly what we did. And when it was time for us to go to bed, when the game was over, she was exhausted. It was all she could do to stay awake, laying at my feet. And I just kept petting her and trying to keep her awake because the game was running on a little bit long. So when you do that and you keep track of their naps later in the afternoon and evening, and keep in mind what time they're going to be going to bed, you can make sure that you wear them out and get them good and tired right before bedtime. And that will help them kind of get through that initial whining stage of crying because they're, of course, alone in their pen or crate. You better come here. Come here. Kennedy. Yes, good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. Yeah, that's a good puppy. So that's one of the other things that you want to start working on very early on with your puppy is recall. Now, she, of course, is just learning her name. Oh, now she's got my hair tie. Very important that your puppy associates coming to you when you call them with all sorts of wonderful goodness. And Kennedy is getting away with all sorts of things that she wouldn't normally because I'm trying to make this video. Now, the other thing that you want to do is make sure that you have some healthy chew options for your puppy because they are going to be teething and they're going to want to chew everything. Having appropriate chew bones that are healthy will give your dog something to do. I like to give puppies something like this lamb's ear when I am not able to pay attention to every move that they're making. Specifically, like if I'm doing the dishes or I need to get ready. That way, she has something that will keep her entertained. I'm still nearby and supervising, but I don't have to watch every single move that she makes. So just like I was distracted by making this video and she's running over there getting into trouble, this way you can kind of keep your puppy in one space. They're doing something productive, like chewing their bone. They're happy and you're happy. The other thing you want to do is, if there's a specific place that you want your puppy to feel comfortable chewing their bones, for example, in their bed, then you want to encourage that behavior very early on. So just like right now, I put her lamb's ear in the bed, and then when she got in the bed to go after it and get it and laid down and started chewing it, I told her yes in a very positive tone so that she would know that that is appropriate behavior, that that's something good that I'm looking for. Which kind of brings me to my next point. When you first get a puppy, you have a tendency to tell them no, right? Don't chew this, don't do that, don't bite my shoe, don't, run around and come here, sit down, right? We have a tendency to get caught up in trying to teach them, and we forget that we should be rewarding them for what they're doing right. And that is very, very important for starting to bond with your puppy. It is vital that you put them in situations where they can make the appropriate choice. For example, I put the bone that she wants to chew in her bed to encourage her to get in the bed. She chose to get in the bed on her own. And when she got in and laid down and started chewing it, I rewarded that behavior. I let her know, hey, this is a very good choice that you're making. And especially with dogs like poodles who are extremely intelligent, the more positive reinforcement you give them about the actions that you want them to take, the more they will do what you want them to do. So try to limit telling your puppy no to when they're actually doing something that might be dangerous, in which case, obviously you want to stop them in their tracks so that they, don't potentially get hurt or something like that. So, but if you're going to tell your puppy no, at least to start with in the first, 2 to 3 weeks, do not use their name, right? Sometimes, especially if you have a family and you're used to hollering at your kids, we have a tendency to use their name, but when you're first starting out with a puppy, you don't want to use their name in a negative tone. You want them to associate their name with all sorts of things that are good and fantastic in this world, so that when you call their name, they think, oh, I need to pay attention because mom's trying to tell me something and this is going to be good. You want them to have that association. Let's talk about healthy chews and bones. Here you go. Good girl. So in the Pad, Foot, Palms, Poodles, and Pals group, I have a file of all sorts of treats that are fantastic options, that are healthy, right? The ingredients have been reviewed, so be sure to check those out. Now, as far as chews and bones, I do have a playlist on our YouTube channel here where I show you not only the healthiest options for chews and bones, but how to get them at affordable prices. So make sure that you go check that out. So what I'm going to do now is give you some options. This won't be a complete list, but just some options to kind of get you started if you're looking at, what kind of healthy chews you should be getting for your puppy. So first up, we've got, of course, a lamb's ear, which as you can see is a good option because it's not something that they can chew through very quickly. Okay, as with any chew that you give your puppy, I just want to say up front that you should always give your puppy something under supervision. So don't put this in your puppy's crate, put your puppy in there and leave them and go off and go shopping for 4 hours because, that's not safe. as they chew these types of healthy natural chews down and they become smaller, I recommend that you take them away and throw them away so that they don't become a choking hazard. And that's true of any chew or any bone that you give your puppy. Sometimes puppies get a little bit excited and they get carried away when they're chewing on stuff. Okay, so we've got lamb's ear, of course. If you watch my video where I did a walkthrough of a natural pet store and all the different options, there are a ton of dehydrated chews like turkey wings, turkey necks, chicken wings. There's all sorts of things like turkey tendons and bully sticks and fish skin strips. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. So make sure you go check out that video for a more complete list of some healthy options that you can give your puppy. She's doing pretty good chewing on it. So one of the things that I really like to use for puppies are goat horns. And you can order them online. I think bestbullysticks.com has very affordably priced goat horns. They're about the size of this lamb's ear, so they're not very big, but certainly big enough for any size breed puppy, with the exception of maybe like an extra large breed puppy, right? Because they would be significantly bigger. The goat horns are great because they're the perfect size. Even if you have a tiny, tiny puppy, they're still really good size. They're like 5 or 6 inches. They're not as hard as an antler, so you don't have to be as worried about it breaking their little puppy teeth. And they don't chew through them very quickly. So I know that a lot of dog owners and puppy owners are always looking for that treat or chew that will last a long time, and goat horns are great for that. You'll see a lot of variations in the stores, like ox horns and what was the other? Water buffalo was one that I saw the other day. Those are good, but they have a little bit denser consistency, so that may be a better choice for an adult dog. But I've really found that the goat's horns are just perfect for puppies. The other thing that you're going to want to consider is raw meaty bones for your puppies. Now, before you panic, yes, you can give your dog raw bones. And this includes poultry bones, as long as they are size appropriate. So, for example, if you had a small breed puppy, I would recommend starting with something like a chicken foot. You can do raw, you can do dehydrated. They come in a couple of different varieties. I like for people to start with chicken feet because they're very easy for puppies to chew up. It's very easy for the owner to hold the chicken foot so that the puppy can chew it. And they're fairly easy to find. You can even find them at Walmart. At Walmart, they call them chicken paws, which I think is funny. So, but they'll be in the meat section. So those are a great option. If you want to go the dehydrated route and you're not wanting to give your puppy raw bones right off the start, then Chewy.com has some really great options for small bags of chicken feet and also some larger count boxes of chicken feet. So you can really save money that way. Why do we feed raw meaty bones? Well, it's a great source of calcium for puppies, and it's going to encourage them to chew, which will help with teething, which will help with getting rid of those pesky puppy teeth that sometimes have a tendency to stay in the mouth and get stuck, and then the adult teeth come in around them. It's also really good because it encourages them to chew their food. And especially if you have a puppy that is kibble fed, kibble encourages puppies to inhale their food, maybe chew it once or twice. And it's really just not healthy for them. You know, dogs are designed to do this exact action that you see Kennedy doing here with her bone, where, hey, did you drop it? There you go. Good girl. Good girl. You got it? Okay. Another activity that you can do with your puppy, which I just thought about, is you can reach in and take their bone. Good girl. Oh, I dropped it. And then turn around and give it back to them. Good girl. And you'll see that I touch her face, I touch your butt, I touch your feet, right? I reach in and touch the bone. Now, she's pulling it away from me because she doesn't want me to mess with it while she's chewing it, which is perfectly reasonable. If your puppy was to growl at you when you did any of those actions, either touching them while they're chewing or touching the bone or trying to take it from them, then you would want to do what I like to call the trade-up game. Okay, so the trade-up game is a game where you have a treat of high value, which I don't have with me right now. And what you're going to do is get your puppy to trade. Hey, look what I got. Kennedy, look. Look at this. Look at this. So you get her to trade so that you can then go and take. Here you go. Good girl. And then you give it back. So, the trade-up game is a really good game to play with your puppy, even if they're not showing any kind of guarding or resource guarding behaviors, just because it encourages them to trust you when they have something that's of high value to them. Okay, so she's peeing. Yes, good girl. Yeah, good girl. Good potty. That's a good potty. Good girl. So she walked over there all by herself to go potty, which is fantastic. Oh, she's found the brush. Here, come over here. Here, come over here. So that was fantastic. As you could see, I noted that she was doing the correct behavior, and I waited until she was almost done to praise her, because Kennedy is very sensitive as far as her feelings go. And if you are too excited or too loud at one time, it can startle her just a little bit, which is fairly common of puppies when they are first coming to their new home. So I didn't want to praise her too excited too soon, because she might have stopped going potty, which I didn't want her to do. So I waited until she was almost done, acknowledged the good behavior while she was still going, so she could make that association. And now we're chewing on a brush. So I like to let puppies get to know a brush before I actually use it on them. A lot of times people, they skip this step with their puppy and just immediately go in and start brushing them. And then what ends up happening is their puppy is like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you trying to get me with that thing? That feels weird, right? And then they want to attack the brush. Like she's doing now. So it's always good to introduce different grooming tools to your puppy in a positive way. See? Where you going? No, Shh. Yes, good girl. Yeah, you did good. You made a good choice. She loves to take those papers, the pee-pee pads, and run around with them. She's so silly. Okay, you gonna get in your bed? Your bone's in your bed. Okay, she's thinking about getting in the bed. Nope, we're out. We're out of there, man. We are out of there. Now, if she had chosen to get in the bed and lay down, I would have praised her for that, because I want her to know that taking a bone or taking a toy or something constructive to do into your bed and laying down is a good behavior. Okay, so let's talk about one other thing before we wrap up this video. And I'll do some more puppy videos with Kennedy here coming up soon. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of those videos. So the last thing we're going to talk about is food. So it's important that you keep your puppy on whatever food your breeder was feeding or the rescue group, whatever the case may be. It's important that you keep your puppy on that food for at least 2 weeks. The reason why I say that is when you first get your puppy, they are going to be stressed, right? Everything in their world has just been turned upside down. And now they're having to learn new people, you know, new environments, new situations, meeting new dogs if you have other dogs or cats or pigs or ferrets or whatever pets you may have, right, that they may have never encountered in their life. So it's a lot to take in for a puppy all at one time. And it's going to take them time to acclimate. Hi, yes, I see you. See, that's her. She was unsure of herself, so she was coming to me for direction. Oh, good, she's gonna eat her food now. So, you wanna keep them on the same food, because if they get diarrhea, you need to be able to say, without a shadow of a doubt, that it's not food related, that it's either stress or possibly parasites or possibly disease, right? You need to be able to evaluate that quickly, and you can't do that if you immediately change their food and they're stressed out. What that's gonna do is that, I mean, that's just a recipe for diarrhea. And then you're not gonna be sure. You're not gonna know, okay, well, you know, did they pick up parvo in my yard, right? You're not gonna be able to discern it because you're changing their food, which is gonna, right, give them diarrhea. So best thing you can do, keep them on the same food for at least 2 weeks. If you have a great breeder and they're sending you home with a bag of food, just finish out that food. Even if it's not the best quality, that's okay. Because it's more important that your puppy have some consistency, and she's chewing my pants leg, some consistency and, you know, something that's easy that they know, right? So they're not having to acclimate to a new food on top of, ow, it was my toe. Oh, Kennedy. Okay, so let's turn you around here. Okay, so this little baby shark is wanting to chew on my toe. She's scratching her neck. So when she's done scratching here, whenever you're ready, you want your bone? You want your bone? Look. So instead of allowing her to chew my foot, which hurt very badly, I I'm now giving her something productive to do. Something that is acceptable for her to chew, right? Instead of my foot. And as you can see, she's pretty happy about it.